I noticed in the assignment that was due last night that a handful of you struggled with the last three problems, and what I noticed in looking at your responses was that several of you struggled, I think, for the same reason. Now, I want to walk you through real quick the assignment or that last assignment piece and see if we can clear up some of that. You'll notice that for questions 24 through 26, they all used this information that I pulled down from the NHS website. And so what we've got is a lot of information here, and what's I think most important is a lot of information we don't need. Now you may be wondering, why on earth would you give us such kind of messy data to start with? Well, here's the thing. In real life, rarely do you get nice, tidy data to do the statistical analyses on. A lot of time doing statistical analysis means going into the data that you have and finding exactly the pieces that you need. So let's look real quick. We've got lots of information, but what we're really interested in is the percent of patients less than 4 hours in regional centers, and that's what this is about. But we're not going to count the NHS walk-in centers, and we don't want to include the overall England percent. So what I did is I just copied the information here and pulled it into Microsoft Excel. And what I did was, because I know from the get-go I'm not interested in either the overall England scores or the walk-in scores, I just highlighted those, put them in red to sort of to signal, Scott, don't use those numbers. And then, following the question, what I'm interested in is the average percent. So I'm not interested in the actual raw numbers. I'm not interested in anything over here. Just this average percent. And so what I did was, and you could have done it on a calculator, there are probably online calculators you could have used, but what I did was just use Microsoft Excel and computed this. So you see this is an average of all of these values here. And I calculated for questions 24, 25, 26, the mean, the standard deviation, and the median. Now, one of the things I want you to notice is, and this is important, is presenting the information in the correct format. So we were talking about percent, so average percent, standard deviation of the percent. When I calculate this, if I hadn't set this to be a percentage, and let me just show it as a number here, kick it out a couple of decimal places, I would have had 0.0053. Well, now that's the raw standard deviation, but again, I'm communicating to my reader, and I want to put it in a format that is consistent and that makes sense. So if the raw data is reported in percent, I want my standard deviation to be in percent as well. And so I do this, let me kick it out, and again it's 0.53%. So I noticed that the common errors I noticed were that people either looked at the raw numbers, the actual numbers of people who went in and waited for less than 4 hours, or and so pulled basically the wrong information, or they included both the England and or the walk-in numbers, which again that's exactly not what you were looking for. So when you do the calculations, and this is going forward, when you do the computations, it's more than just crunching numbers. Statistics is about going in and identifying precisely the information that you need, doing the computations, and then also presenting that information in the proper format. So for those of you who struggled with those last questions, I think that's probably covers what you struggled with.